We are so excited to have author Jason Wright with us today. Jason, we picked your book, The Wednesday Letters, as our book club pick for the month.
Yay.
Yes, so awesome. You actually traveled to us from Virginia.
I did. I live in Woodstock, where the book is based, and when you reached out to me, I couldn't dream of a better opportunity than to be on the couch with you doing this today, so thank you for having me.
Oh, sure. Well, you also have a lot of ties to Utah.
I do. We lived in Utah for some years, but it's been a while since we've been here, and it's nice to come and visit, and it's nice to get home.
Definitely. Okay, The Wednesday Letters is just such a great read. It also happens to be a New York Times bestseller, so obviously a very popular book for you. Where did you get this idea?
So I love the handwritten letter. I speak a lot about that around the country. There's this sort of romance and beauty to how our parents used to communicate, the way our grandparents communicated. When they wanted to send a message, they didn't do this on their phone or go to Facebook or Twitter. They got a piece of paper and a pen, and they really poured their heart out in kind of the old-fashioned way to us now. So I wanted to tell a story where the bulk of the story, the plot, is really revealed through handwritten letters. So about 30% of the book is made up of these letters, as your viewers know by now.
Exactly, and they're so fun to read, and the story, as you all know, gets very complex and it affects a lot of people's lives, and I think there is something very timeless about written letters. Definitely.
Absolutely. And I get a lot of written letters in fact, I would invite, if you want to write me a letter, I will respond to you. Every single person that writes me gets a handwritten response. It takes a lot of time.
Wow.
But I enjoy doing it. I invest a lot of money in postage every year. The post office loves me. But I just think that we have to stay connected as best we can to this. There's something so special about running your hand across a piece of paper that the digital age just doesn't give us.
Oh, definitely. Now let's talk about where the book is based, because it actually drew you in so much that you ended up moving there?
That's right. We're living in Fairfax, Virginia, sort of inside the Beltway in the D.C. Area. And I began to research for the book, and I didn't have a city yet for the book. I had the plot sketched out and the characters, but I didn't have a place for it yet. So I began to research online. I found this little town called Woodstock, and I drove out there. It was about an hour and a half from where we lived at the time. And I drove up and down Main Street, and I parked, and I talked to some locals, and I just fell in love with it. And then I submitted the book to the publisher, and it was in the editing process when we had baby number 4.
Wow.
Otherwise known as the End. That's what you would call him. In fact, my wife is sitting right over here with me today.
Yes.
And we said, you know, we need more house, right? Isn't that what we said? We need more house.
Bigger house.
And so we drove out to Woodstock and found a house, and in about 3 days we had a place, and in a month we were living there. So.
Oh, that is amazing. Okay, what was the moment in your career where you thought, I can do this for a living. I can be an author?
Probably Christmas Jars, which came out 1 year before The Wednesday Letters, which perhaps some of your viewers are familiar with as well. That was kind of a surprise hit for us. I think our expectations were fairly low, and I think the publisher's expectations were pretty low. I was a complete unknown. Nobody knew who I was. But the book kind of exploded and did really, really well, and as we began to think about what was coming next, I think that's when I woke up one morning and said, you know, this might be it. And I wanted to do this when I was in the 3rd grade. I just never thought I'd have the opportunity. So Christmas Jars put us on the map, and I think The Wednesday Letters sort of kept us there.
Dream come true, I'm sure. So when you got to the New York Times bestseller list, what is it like to wake up to phone calls saying, you've made it?
So great story. I was in the drive-thru at KFC, actually, in Woodstock. And I got a call from my editor, and I picked it up, and I could tell there were a lot of people in the room. He was on speakerphone, and he said, I've got some news for you. And I said, okay. And he said, you're number 6 on the New York Times list. And I actually cried a little bit, didn't I, sweetheart? I cried a little bit.
I would
so
too.
Excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was sort of the beginning of a wild 10-year journey. We've been very blessed.
That is so cool. Okay, Jason, we also have to ask, the book talks a lot about marriage and relationships. What do you want readers to get from that?
Be honest. The book is about honesty and forgiveness, and a marriage must be based on honesty. Even when it's tough, you have to look your spouse in the eye and tell the truth on the good days and the bad days and all the days in between. And the book really hinges on those moments of pure honesty. And sometimes it'll be eye to eye, and sometimes it might be in a letter, but we have to be honest with one another if we expect the marriage to really progress and to become all it can be.
Oh, definitely. Okay, we want viewers to get all your books, of course, and they can read your articles. Where do they go for more information?
So you can just Google Jason Wright. You'll find me. It's jasonfwright.com.
Okay.
I write a weekly column. You can find that. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/jfwbooks.
Okay.
Also very easy to find. And 10 books out with more on the way.
Great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Back with New York Times best-selling author Jason Wright. We featured his book, The Wednesday Letters, for our book club this month. Absolutely loved it, and we have great news.
Thank you. Yes.
There's a sequel.
Yes! There's a sequel.
So tell everyone about that.
It's called The Wedding Letters. It's a blue book. It looks just like this, but it's blue, and it picks up 5 years after the end of The Wednesday Letters with Noah and his shot at romance and a family and heartbreak and some unanswered questions from the Wednesday letters are finally answered in the wedding letters, so check that out.
Okay, I can't wait to read it. And then we also have to talk a little bit about Christmas jars, because like you said, that was kind of your first huge hit that put you on the map. So tell us about that series and what's going on there.
I'm super excited to announce that we're going back to the world of Christmas jars to Hope and her family. We are working now on a third book in that series. It will sort of cap Hope's story. That will be out in 2017. We're writing that right now.
Okay.
And also, we're working on a collector's edition of Christmas jars, which will be out next year.
And it's really the best Christmas gift to get. So thank you for that, because I've given it to a lot of people in my time.
Well, thank you. And so have a million people around the world, and it's so humbling. It's so humbling that the book continues to generate interest after a decade. It's a decade old, and people are still talking about it. But this fall also, I'm super excited, in 2016, our primary new release in 2016 will be a little gift book that is a letter to Mary. That's what it's called, and it's written from the Savior's point of view to his mother, kind of a thank you letter for her role in this divine mission of Jesus Christ. It started as an article that I wrote that was posted on Facebook and did really, really well.
Cool.
And so a publisher reached out and said we should publish this, and so we're working on art now, and that'll be out probably in October, just in time for like conference weekend in Salt Lake.
Great, how exciting. Okay, and then you also said you're venturing into the world of children's books.
I am. I'm writing a book called The Lost Carnival. It's super hard and super fun. I've never written for kids like this before, so it's been a big challenge. But I look forward to finishing that up in the next month or so, and then we'll begin to work that through the production process, and I hope people like it.
I'm sure they will. Jason, it's been so fun to chat with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping in Utah. We hope you stop by next time you're here.
I will. I will.
Okay, and again, people can find you online. You have everything on your website.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we will post a link to that on our website, fox13now.com. Just click on the place for all the info.